Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about home innovation. That is the topic for today. And we have Melissa here who's going to help us think about this in a whole new way. So I'm truly excited for this. Thank you so much, Melissa, for coming onto my show and sharing your time and your perspective. But let's just dive right in. When you hear those words, home innovation, what does that make you think about?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show, Mitzi. It's so great to meet you and to be here and to talk about my favorite topic, which is interior design and home remodeling. When you say homes innovation, it's a powerful word for me that's filled with lots of emotions. This is a company that my husband and I built together, and it actually stemmed from our own experiences flipping homes in and out of state, and then being called upon by friends and family to help them to just work on different projects that they had in their house or getting their house ready to go to market. But then we had our own big hoopla at our brand new house that we had just bought, new to us, not a brand new house, but new to us. And we were so excited moving into what felt like a pretty good, like forever home in terms of like our children were going to live here in their childhood for sure. And we'd been in the home for like 2 months in Boca Raton. And after 2 months, we found out that during a minor cosmetic repair that we were having done in the kitchen, we had black mold and it was behind every single cabinet. It was on all three walls in our kitchen. So I left in the morning to go get my hair done. And I thought I was going to come home to brand new kitchen countertops that were going to be so beautiful. And nope, came home to seeing every single part of that kitchen outside on my patio.
Wow.
And that experience was, just one of those like nightmare situations. You're kind of like, why me? Why now? Inconvenient time. What a wet blanket on like a happy moment in our chapter in our lives. And then we snowballed into insurance nightmare, getting provided contractors that we were required to use that didn't care about us whatsoever, neglected all of our needs and wants, and then having to sue the insurance company 6 months later, still not able to live in our new home, and winning that lawsuit, thank God, but then having to finally fix the kitchen ourselves.
Mm.
And when that happened, we said, you know what? We should really do this as a business. This should be our business. This feels like a divine intervention moment. This feels like a little nod from God. And I really felt in my soul that I wanted to help other people. I didn't want anybody else to ever go through what I went through because I did not feel seen. I did not feel heard. I did not feel taken care of. I felt taken advantage of. And
Mm.
we found out there's many people in our community and all across the states that feel the same way when it comes to remediation companies, insurance companies, and general contractors. And we really wanted to come in and change the stereotype, give people a completely different experience. So when you say homes innovation, I'm literally bursting with like pride because this means so much to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's your testimony. You know what I mean? You really did make something that was meant to, I guess, destroy you in a sense, to really be your stepping stone to help other people, to really turn your life around in a way. Like you, who would have thought that mold would be the driving post to your business and for you and your husband and for your family to now really take that initiative to really help others because yes, oh my goodness, the insurance companies, they really look out for themselves, and certain contractors, they only care about as far as they feel the need to care, and it's really not much depending on the contractor that you're working with. Some people, they're in the contracting business because they really do want to help out, and sometimes they're just for the money and just to try to lag out the project as long as they can. So it really does make it difficult. But how do you necessarily know which contractors are there to actually help you or not? How do you decipher that?
There are definitely
Discern.
some red flags that you can be aware of. One of the biggest red flags for us that we hear about, and we're like, oh, that's not good, is when they don't want to give you a contract, when they can't show their license, when they can't show their updated insurance. that year needs to actually be stamped with the year that you're presently in. Those things are really big red flags. You want a contractor that has things organized, that has organized communication. If they can't clearly note every phone call and send it back to you in an email or in a text message, put things in writing. It's a really big red flag. They should feel confident putting what they said they would do in writing for you. It helps you and it helps the contractor to keep communication streamlined and open. So that's a really big red flag for us that we notice for sure is them just having an unwillingness to put things in writing.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you really think about it, wouldn't you want it in writing? Wouldn't you want it in some type of contract that makes them obligated to do such work at a certain and finish by a certain time? So to not have that, yeah, that I would understand how that is a red flag because oh my goodness, I couldn't even imagine. I think that's the reason why a lot of the times people just don't want to go into buying a house because of just the thought of something like your situation, finding black mold or finding termites or finding anything that could be a really stressful situation. Or even I know somebody that ended up buying a house not even realizing that it was a sinkhole at one point. You know what I mean? So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
very stressful. So
Oh,
I feel
wow.
like having that open communication is a really big thing because my grandmother, she had a home in Fort Lauderdale and she was trying to renovate it and then those contractors, one of them fell and they were trying to sue her and they were trying to blame her for all these things and it was just a hot mess. Like I felt so bad for her because it seemed like they were trying to scam her anyways because she's an old lady. So it's just like oh
Oh, yeah.
it's very stressful to really think about not dealing with people who have a good a good heart into the business. So I guess how can people start thinking of renovating or innovating their home differently?
Well, really, it just starts by identifying what the house needs. I think needs go before wants for sure. If you have a dilapidated, kitchen where things aren't working properly, there's no function, drawers won't pull out. You've got, a dishwasher that you have to move a drawer to the left in order to pull the dishwasher open. Like, things like that, oh, the hot water doesn't work in the sink, only the cold water. When you have these issues that you just try to get through them day after day after day, where the kitchen or whatever the room is, whatever the space is, the door doesn't really shut. You have to full body slam yourself into it to lock it, like all that kind of stuff. Those are needs that the house is letting you know, hey, we need this fixed. I would start with the needs first and then I would move into the wants. But my design style, and my I guess my slogan, if you will, is always it must function and be stylish. You want to have function and style in every decision that you make with your contractor and with your designer. Because without function, what is the point of having the beautiful design? And what
Mhm.
is the point of having great function if it looks awful? You
Yeah.
need to have both. And sometimes that requires a compromise, but a really good GC and a really good designer will walk you through your options and show you what you can do as a compromise. And they'll think outside the box. They'll lean into their resources to see how can we really help you in this situation. And they'll work with your budget as long as it's realistic. We can't realistically give you a brand new shower for $1,000. That's just never going to happen. That's barely going to cover your materials. It's not even going to touch the labor and things like that. But yes, that's definitely something that I think is my motto, function
Yeah,
and style.
I like that because I think it comes back to being realistic, you know what I mean? Not just with our budget, but just with the overall piece of your environment, your home. You know what I mean? If you're trying to really make this house into a home, you have to be very functional. And why not enjoy it? You're gonna live there for God knows knows how long. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So why not enjoy the style? Why not just bring in the style that you enjoy? And I think just having both is very important because we need to like you said, not body slam our body into into a door just to finally have it closed or to just like rig it just so that it can lock in such a way. Like it truly does make it frustrating when homes aren't homing the way that it should home.
And sometimes it can be a safety issue too. I've seen houses where they're like, "Oh, we have the sofa right in front of the glass sliding door." And I'm like, "Well, why would we put the sofa in front of the glass sliding door? That's your exit." And they're like, "Oh, well, the glass sliding door is broken. It really doesn't work. It won't open." Okay, well, if in emergency, if literally seconds matter, you need to be able to access that door. You want to be able to move your people through the door if that needs to happen.
Oh, it sounds like they're just gonna have everybody jump over, hurdle over the couch and just
And
wig it
then go
open.
down the hall and then use like a back door to get out of the house, in case of a fire or a flood or whatever. Like you just want to think about these things. And my husband actually has been in charge of safety on many construction sites, building, airports, building shopping malls, assisted living facilities. So his back of the mind is always about safety. So I love it when I bring him on job sites because he'll always throw in his 2 cents and it's so valuable.
Oh, absolutely. Like we never know what something might happen. And because when it does happen, that's when things are real. You know what I mean? That's when you need to find that
Yeah.
escape route. That's when you need to have that door working. That's when you need to have that window open. God forbid you have a window that is sealed shut, and that's the only window that you
Right.
are have when there's a fire and you need to escape. Like you really do need to think about that in the all run of that. So what are some pros and cons when it comes to home innovations?
In regards to remodeling the
Yeah,
home,
remodeling, yeah.
pros and cons. Well,
Mhm.
it can be a little inconvenient. If I'm going to come in and remodel your whole kitchen, it's going to be a little inconvenient because you probably can't live there for a little while. So we do recommend with bigger renovations that we have people move out. If we're doing something like removing popcorn ceiling, that's also pretty inconvenient, or removing all the flooring to install new flooring because you have to move everything out as though you were actually moving. You have to box everything you own up pretty much and put it into a pod or something outside. And then just I think the stress of making decisions. I notice a lot of people get like decision burnout. I see that a lot, especially with a whole house project.
Mhm.
So I think at some point that's when the designers and the GCs have to maybe take a client aside and have like that come to Jesus talk with them. If they feel like they want to be included in every decision and they've made that very clear, but you're 3 months in and you're seeing their decision burnout is high. It's good to have that come to Jesus and say, listen, we've got you. We've been working with you for 3 months. If it's okay with you, we're going to make these decisions. We're going to put them in email. You're going to know about them. And you can always chime in if you want something different, but we don't have to include you in A, B, C, D, and E. We've got this. We always want to work with the clients and do what they want to do, but at the same time, the burnout's super real. But
Mhm.
the pros are huge. The pros are just gigantic. You're going to have a home that represents who you are. You're going to start to have a home that inspires you and that really can elevate your mood and change how you feel and how you feel and how you behave and how you interact and what your sleep is like and what your thoughts are like and what your waking moments are like. And I think there's so much value in that alone. Mental health, I think, is a huge increase when you have a space that speaks to who you are. If you have a very stressful, busy job, let's say you own a really busy restaurant and it is just nonstop buzz, 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 buzz. When you come home, your home needs to truly feel like a calm, peaceful sanctuary. You need to
Yeah.
have a place where your whole mind and body and soul can just fully restore. So I think that there's those pros in that. The other obvious pros would be that it's going to increase value of your home. You're putting equity back into your home. If I'm building a brand new kitchen and let's say the kitchen's running about 25,000, I'm going to hope to see that the value of your home just went up almost 40,000. It better, is it better be
Yeah.
smart design. And so when you're increasing the value of your home, this is a big investment. This is an investment that should, in the right economy and in the right market, should at the right time turn you a large profit, and you should be able to see that money come back. It might be liquid cash out at the moment, but you can bank on it coming back to you if you have intentions of selling within the next 5, 10 years. So those are some pretty big big pros actually.
Yeah, I agree. I love how real you are when you said, "Well, the con is the fact that it's going to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to leave," you know. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like they watch these shows on HGTV and they see the beginning, they see the end, but they don't know in between. They don't know that the fact that they can't be in their home. They don't know in the fact that they have to pack everything up. Like we see the
Yeah,
house empty,
they
but
don't
we
show that
don't.
part.
Yeah, they don't show the part of the families like, oh man, now we have to pack everything. You know, they don't show all of that. But I think that it's good that you talked about it so that people realize like if this is something that you're planning on doing later on in the future or whenever that this is like sitting in your head, that this is something that you also have to do. And I love also the fact that you talked about the burnout. I think that is so real that people can really get so stressed out by all of these options and all of these choices that they have to make. Like I know people that just get overwhelmed by just going to a buffet. You know what I mean? Just choosing all these different foods overwhelms them. So I could only imagine just picking tile and choosing between this or that. I mean, that really does take a toll. And the fact that you give your clients or just reminding the clients that you don't have to choose everything, you know what I mean? We can just stay along the lines of what you like, the design you like, the style you like, and just make sure that it's friendly budget, but that it's in your bracket and we don't over exceed the budget or whatever that it is. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
think that makes it so much easier, especially for people who don't want to step into that burnout because then they're going to be like, well, I don't want to do anything. We're done. We're going to cut it all off. And then they
Yes.
ruin everything because then it's like you don't get to go to the end product. You know what I mean? You don't get to experience that tranquility in your home that ultimately is the reason why you decided to even start this in the first place. So I think it allows people to really have this 360 perspective when it comes to renovating, upgrading, you know what I mean, adding on whatever that they're doing to their home to realize at the end of the day, it's your home, it's your peace, it's where you find the most relaxation out of anywhere in the world, you know? So the fact that you're even trying to help with that, I mean, that is so honoring and humbling because you could be doing anything with your life. You know what I mean? At any type of job or any type of business you could do, but you decided to go in this route where you actually and sincerely want to see somebody find that peace, know their peace, where they can email you a month later after the job is complete and be like, "Oh, Melissa, thank you so much. This was so worth everything." You know what I mean? Like, have you had those moments where you had the
Oh
client come back to
yeah.
you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, one job in particular comes to mind. The client was becoming official snowbirds. They were buying a house in Boca, and they still had their house up north that they would be at in the summertime, but in the winter, this was their home. So we started the project basically right around May, and they were around for about 2 weeks and then they were gone. So it was just me and the GC left to, finish this home. And it was about 4,200 square feet. So we're talking a pretty good size house.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her when we got to like the last, like, I'd say once like the drywall was up, when the drywall's up and when all the tiles installed in the bathroom and the drywall's up, that's when things start getting super exciting because this is when like the vision starts to come to life. You have install days and you have days where furniture starts to arrive, and it's just extremely exciting. And I told her, I'm not going to share anything with you. The GC is not going to share anything with you. There's going to be no videos, no photos. I just need you to absolutely trust me because I want to see your expression when you walk in the door. So they literally flew in and I met them outside, and I had like some sparkling water and like these new glassware that I had got them. And I had rolled up hand towels and they were warmed with like mint infused because they just got off the plane. So I was like,
Yeah.
clean your hands and, breathe it in. And they were just like, what is happening? And I was like, I want you to get this whole experience because your house is an experience. And we
Yeah.
opened the doors and they came in and she just started crying. She was just, she was just like, I can't believe this. And as a surprise for her, I had unpacked every single box that had come, which was probably close to 70 boxes. My team came in, we unpacked every single thing. So her kitchen was stocked, her closets were full of clothes, blankets, you name it. Everything was put away.
That's so
And
nice.
and I thought back to the trials that we had had on that project, the hiccups that had come up, the issues that kept me awake at night, the things that didn't go the way I wanted them to go. And I had to overcome those challenges and do what was best for the client and put myself second. And sometimes that involves, eating some money. It's on me. It's on me to make sure that the client is happy. That is the end goal. That is the only goal.
Mhm.
And to see the look on her face, to see the look on her husband's face, which, is sometimes a little harder to please the men. I just literally was like, this is why I will keep doing this year after year after year after year, because it was
Yeah.
that rewarding.
Oh, I believe it because you get to have that peace of knowing that despite it all, this is it. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
moment of just pure joy of knowing that they finally get to have a home that they feel comfortable in, that they feel safe in, that they can enjoy in, and they can bask in with their families when they come into town. Like I lived in Florida, so I know exactly how
Yeah.
those transports
Oh, they
are, you know
had
what
the
I
view
mean?
of the golf course, like floor to ceiling windows, total view of the golf course with the lake right there.
Oh,
So
that's
it
so
was
nice.
just green and blue, and then the blue sky above the green. So it was this mixture of like gorgeous blues and greens, so tranquil. I didn't even put up drapery because we just had like the roller shades come down because this was the view, and you didn't want
Yeah.
anything to impede on the view. It was just this view, didn't need to be framed. It was just very modern, like floor to ceiling windows, and check out the view. And it was amazing. It was really amazing. Like I would, yes, go to hell and back to have that feeling again. I think in a weird way, like designers who are like me, who get that bug, we kind of chase that feeling. We chase that feeling of saying, I jumped over 1,000 hurdles, blood, sweat, and tears. And it was completely worth it because look at what you and your family are going to enjoy for decades. I don't know how long, but long.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. Like, I love watching the Magnolia Network and seeing all of the work that they've done
Yes,
with these houses and just HGTV, just all of these houses from the beginning to end, from even the disputes. Because I've even seen sometimes the clients and the contractors fighting sometimes, or they have to get this disagreement. Like, I don't want this anymore. I need this instead, or I want this instead. And
right.
then, like at the end result, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. Sometimes, like, okay,
It's
I tell my
forgotten.
husband. Yeah, it's the
It's
best
like
part.
It's like childbirth. You go through all of that
Yes, yes.
horrible, horrible agony, even if you have a bad pregnancy and your pregnancy is rough. And then the baby comes, and within like a couple weeks, you're just like, I don't really remember. I just got this now. And that's all I could think about. And I can't think of anything else.
Yes, that's the best analogy that anybody can really think of because it is because I know. I mean, I've given birth to my two sons and it was,
Yeah,
oh my
me
goodness,
too.
crazy. So it's just like the aftermath is so much more rewarding. So yes, that's a
Yeah,
great way to think about it. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
thank you. So I know time is catching up to us and I'm sad because I feel like I could keep picking your
We
brain
could talk
and go
forever
further.
about this, all kinds
Eh,
of stuff.
exactly. There's so many avenues, but what can be some lasting words that you can leave us off with to keep on thinking?
Okay, so this is really important. And I'm glad you asked this question. We are in September, August. We have September right around the corner, and we are walking into probably a very active hurricane season. And anybody along the coast, anywhere in Florida, all the way up to New York, we've seen the hurricanes go everywhere now. We tend to think that hurricane preparedness is very limited to things like having water, having gasoline stocked somewhere, canned goods, board up your windows, put the shutters down, right? That is fine. That's like reading the pregnancy book and then not knowing what to do when the baby comes. So,
Yes.
what do we do when the storm actually hits? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to need immediately someone to call who can come over and fix whatever damage the storm caused. And maybe it's not you. Maybe it's your sister. Maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe it's somebody you work with. Somebody's going to ask you, who can come? I need a quote. My garage door got crushed. Who do I call? So many shingles are off my roof. I'm going to probably need patching or I'm going to need a new roof. Who do I call? My fence blew down completely. The person you need to call is your general contractor. General contractors have relationships with every single business you can think of in your community. We already know who's good. We already know who's not a con artist. We know who's going to give you a good quote, and we can get multiple quotes for people too. The other
Mhm.
two people you need to know before the storms start hitting is your public adjuster. That's who you're going to call first before your insurance company,
Mhm.
public adjuster. And then the other person you need to know and trust is a restoration company, mold, water, fire restoration.
Mhm.
Those guys almost get a worse rep than contractors, and it's not for no reason. They can really walk in and shove a paperwork in your face and tell people they have to sign. And once you sign that paper, whew, it can be tens of thousands of dollars now that you owe. And you're going to have to
Mhm.
fight to prove that you don't because they can pop some fans in and say, oh, that's $80,000 now. And you look at the bill and you go, that's insane. There's no way. I've seen it 100 times. Know who your restoration company is, know who your public adjuster is, and know who your general contractor is this hurricane season, no matter where you are. Those are the three people that have got to be in your phone and that you trust and that you have a relationship with, even if it's a new one where you're just like, hi, I heard this tip. I wanted to see if I could get on your radar. This is my home address. And I just wanted to like reach out and tell you that I'm going to be calling you if anything happens.
And that brings rapport, you know what I mean? Especially for the other end of the general contractors, the restorations, the public adjusters, all of them at the same time. Like that's right there. You get work, real work from real people that may need you. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
brings a good relationship for the community. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that hurricane season, it's a real one. I experienced my first one when I was down there, and it was intense. Like I didn't realize how intense it was until they started boarding up the windows, and then I was just like, oh, this is a lot. Like, you know what I mean? It was a lot for
Yeah.
me because I'm from up north. So it was a whole new experience. And hurricanes are something that you just don't necessarily joke around with because it can go from calm to intense in matter of seconds. And my husband, he's from Houston, so he's used to all these hurricanes. For him,
Yeah.
these strong winds and strong weathers and all that stuff. Like for him, it was nothing. I remember him told me that one time there was a hurricane so bad that he ended up just sitting on his porch on a little raft, and he was just there just chilling, and I was just like, that for me would give me anxiety just thinking
Oh
about
my
it. Like
gosh.
I couldn't just even think about it just because that's how high the level of the water was. And I'm just like, I can't even imagine. Like, and you're talking about it like if it's another day in America. Like I just I couldn't. But to each its own. He lived there for a very long time. So that's no here nor there. Anyways,
Yeah. Well, and I'm a Floridian, so I can understand that and I can respect that. I mean, when I was a teenager and hurricanes came through, we called them hurricane parties. We were excited.
yeah.
We weren't
Yeah.
bummed. They were also only category threes back then. So 1996 or 1994 was Hurricane Andrew that wiped out Homestead. And that took out a huge division of homes that weren't built to code. So they
Mm,
leveled every single house. And that was really huge devastation. But those were category threes. We don't have category fives, and they're
yeah.
normal. And so the more that this keeps happening, I don't see it going away. Really just calls to the urge to be more prepared, have more preparedness, know that just because you live in the mountains in North Carolina does not mean that you are going to be missed. It can absolutely come for you, even if you just get like a heavy band that comes through and causes flooding. And it's so much rain that your poor roof has never experienced that before. And now you have a leak. And now you feel more stressed than ever before because now, not only do you have a leaky roof, now you have to go figure out who's going to come and fix it. And are you going to trust them? And you're starting from scratch. So, my best advice is get ahead of the game. Walk into this hurricane season way ahead of the game. Have these three numbers in your phone and feel good and sleep good at night, knowing if the worst happens or even just a little damage happens, I know what I'm going to do.
Oh, absolutely. I stand by that because I lived in Georgia at one point by the Atlanta area, and when we just got the bandwidth of the hurricane that was going through the East Coast, that changed everyone's perspective. Like everyone in Atlanta, they did not know how to handle that big storm, the winds, the rain. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, all of that was a lot. Like even my house was affected, but my house was affected, but just like a lot of debris over the land, but the house next to them, it actually a tree fell in. Like we literally
Oh,
seen the tree fell in, and we were just like, "Oh my goodness, I feel so bad for them." Like it was really intense. So it's just like you never know. You never know. And to have that preparation is better than to not have that preparation. And then you're panicking, scattering around, trying to figure out what's
yeah.
what. But if you have that preparation and then you know what to do and how to handle it, and you feel more confident and you have this peace of mind, like everything is truly going to be okay. And ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, because I sure did, go check out Melissa, have access to her website, access to all the greatness that she has to offer the world so that you can continue on thinking. And if you're in Florida and you want to contact her and have her be your backup, well then go ahead. I know I have a lot of Floridians who listen, so go ahead and hit her up so that you can feel safe and secured and have this peace of mind that somebody's real is going to be behind you through anything, through thick and thin, right? So with that being said, bye.